So guys, after Tinubu returned from Europe, he jetted out again to Turkey, and that has come with a whole lot of reactions. This is coming after Sheikh Gumi told Tinubu to dump the US and seek help from Turkey and from Pakistan in fighting terrorism. Now, this same Gumi was said to have traveled recently to Turkey. Now, Tinubu again traveled to Turkey. Nigerians are yet to get the insight on why Tinubu went to Turkey. Now, there's been a whole lot of outreach as regards to worsening insecurity in the country. Like you can see here, this headline here says, suspected bandits spied 55-year-old farmer en route to his farm in Taraba. Somebody was going to his farm, 55 years old. And guess what? These terrorists, brought down the man. And this other headline here says, Ondo residents protest as terrorists shoot businessman, abduct woman, injured mother and child in attack. So guys, these terrorists are all over the places. They are everywhere in Nigeria. Now, this is coming from Plateau State, and it says 3 daughters of Plateau Water Board MD abducted. 3 daughters abducted by gunmen in Jos. So guys, Fulani herdsmen are causing havoc all over the nation, and Tinubu is nowhere to be found. Even if he's in the country, he doesn't utter a word. And this is what is giving these terrorists boldness, because they know nobody challenges them, nobody questions their actions, and that is why they just keep causing mayhem all over the places. So guys, Nigeria is now a no-go zone. Now, Atiku Abubakar has questioned Tinubu's visit to Turkey, as in, he said Atiku aide questioned lack of return date for Tinubu's Turkey visit. We don't even know why he went there, and Tinubu did not tell Nigerians how long he's going to stay there. Also, many people have reacted after reports says Tinubu has removed Sunday Igbohu's name from wanted list. This headline here captured it saying, tribalism, Tinubu removes Yoruba nation agitator Sunday Igbohu's name from wanted list. So guys, people have been accusing Tinubu of trying to mess up Nnamdi Kanu. You can see Nnamdi Kanu is sentenced for life. Terrorists are being given amnesty. Nnamdi Kanu is sentenced for life. Terrorists are being negotiated with, giving amnesty and taxpayers' money to go and sin no more, and still they return back to their sin and the government is quiet. But Nnamdi Kanu is the only person meant to face the law. So guys, when you look at all these things, you will know that Tinubu possibly may have entered an agreement not to let Nnamdi Kanu go. And this is coming at a time Nnamdi Kanu has been awarded citizenship award in the United States, even though he is in prison. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at some of these videos, but before then, let me show you more reaction as to what is happening in Nigeria. Now, the governor of Oyo State has hit hard on Tinubu, saying we governors are unaware of what was passed by Tinubu's government. Oyo governor raises alarm over tax bill. They say they don't even know what is in the tax bill because Tinubu's government keeps saying one thing after the other. So guys, a whole lot is happening. Nigerians are really not satisfied with how Tinubu is managing the economy, how Tinubu is managing security, how Tinubu is managing the entire country. There's nobody that is being held accountable for what is happening. Anyway, guys, let me just allow you to take a look at these videos and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Our next story is about corruption. This is a global problem. It plagues a number of countries, but some more than others. Among those at the top of the list is Nigeria. Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation. It used to be Africa's biggest economy as well, but it has now slipped to 4th place. This slide is often linked to President Bola Tinubu, his economic policies and his reputation for corruption. Tinubu recently featured on a list, the list of the most corrupt leaders in the world. The winner was former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He was followed by Kenya's William Ruto, but Tinubu made the top 5. Now, I must clarify here that these rankings were sourced from the public. There wasn't a scientific formula involved. It was about public perception, and Tinubu is perceived to be extremely corrupt. So is his government. There are a number of reasons for this. Let me show you some of the latest examples, starting with the government. Nigeria has an anti-corruption agency. It is called the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. This is Nigeria's watchdog. Its job is to tackle corruption, and technically they are doing that, but at home. Let's show you today's major headline. The EFCC has detained 10 of its own over some missing items. This statement was put out by the agency. You'll notice that they said some operational items could not be accounted for. Okay, that sounds like some missing equipment. But then the Nigerian press dug a little deeper, and it turns out that the operational items were jewelry and cash worth $350,000 to $400,000. What operations were they pulling off with all that jewelry? 10 EFCC officers were detained in Lagos. They are apparently answering questions. That is all that the commission has revealed. They haven't told the public who the corrupt officers are. I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but the very same commission usually does not follow this. They happily share the names of under trials, but suddenly the agency is shy about revealing the names of its own officers. And this has been quite a bad week for them. They were forced to make another announcement on Monday, telling the people that 27 other officers had been dismissed for fraudulent activities and misconduct. This is not a great look for Nigeria's anti-graft watchdog, and definitely not a good look for the Tinubu government. Bola Tinubu is 72 years old. He's been around for a while. He's a seasoned politician. So as you would expect, he has been linked to a number of scandals over the decades. One of the worst involved drug dealing. Tinubu allegedly held money from drug trafficking in his accounts. This was according to the US Justice Department. Tinubu, of course, never accepted the charges, but he did pay out a settlement worth $460,000. Now, these charges are old. No final verdict was reached. So let's put them aside for now. After all, people can supposedly change. So what has Tinubu been up to recently since he became president? Well, he was caught up in a fake diploma scandal for a while. There were allegedly some errors in his college certificate. Okay, mistakes happen, moving on. Then there was a major scandal involving a highway. Tinubu issued a $13 billion government contract to a company co-owned by his son. Tinubu is quite the caring father, apparently, but alas, most people do not see it that way. That is why he made it to the top 5 in the Corrupt Person of the Year award. The perception is quite prevalent, and reports say that he is quite vexed. He's even hired American lobbyists to clean up his image. He's reportedly paying them $2.7 million, though I wonder, is he paying from his own pocket or Nigeria's treasury? I suppose we'll find out eventually.
No word that I can tell you that will change this. There's no word that I can tell you that will take away your pain. There's nothing that I can say or do that will take away your grief. I can't change this. What I can promise you is that I would rather die standing for truth than sitting in America while my people are oppressed, while my brothers and sisters are persecuted and massacred, while the world is just watching. Other Christians are just watching. Everyone in the world knows what's happening, and they're doing nothing. They choose to just watch. And your own government is feeding off of the blood of your brothers and sisters. They're profiting off of the blood of your brothers and sisters. You have thousands of villages around Nigeria that are gone, extinct, rubble. Bones are still in the villages. In Yelwada, almost 300 were killed. We're rebuilding the village in Yelwada right now. Bones are still on the ground. But the governor says there's no genocide. The one who claims to be a Christian.
State of Benue, we don't have any religious, any ethnic, any racial, any national or state genocide.
No genocide.
All right, so I am live in Yelewata in Benue State, where the attack took place yesterday.
Blood is being poured out. And so what I call to you guys is, it's not going to start with the ones abroad. It's going to begin with the people here in Nigeria to take a stand. You have to have the boldness and the courage to stand for truth. And that will mean that people will suffer because of it. But the only way that change will happen is if the people stand up, if the people fight, if the people act in self-defense. For how many years will you accept being killed? For how many years will you see your own be beheaded? How many villages need to be burned down to the ground? At some point you need to do something. And what I can promise, even if it's only me, is that we will stand for truth. The U.S. and the world will know what is happening. They will know that these caskets are not empty.
Thank you.
They will know that the people in Kaduna who were kidnapped, they were kidnapped. It's not false. It's the truth. And so we have to stand for truth. And I promise on behalf of myself, whatever it leads to, that truth will be told. I'm not a reporter. I do mission work. We go to the villages that are afflicted to be with the people. And it breaks my heart to see what is happening to you. It crushes my heart. But I would rather be no place than alongside you. Standing for the truth. Standing up for what is being done that is so evil and wrong in Nigeria. And so I promise on my end, I will fight for you. And I will fight with you, and I will fight alongside you. And what I encourage you is to not let this take your eyes away from God. Don't let this destroy your heart for God in following Him. But let it push you closer to Christ. Because the Lord promises that He will never leave nor forsake you. That He goes before you, He is with you, He is behind you. Scripture says that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So lean on His staff. Look to God. Let your hope be remaining in Him. No matter what evil you are facing, no matter the persecution, no matter the oppression, look to God. Go to Him because He will comfort you. Scripture says that He is gentle and lowly in heart. That you will find rest for your soul. And so I know that you have no rest right now. But I challenge you to go to God. Look to Him for rest. Look to Him for comfort. Let Him bring tears. Let Him bring joy from tears. Because He can do anything. And He promises that all things will be used for good. Even though you don't see it. This does not look good. And you may wonder, where is the good in death? Where is the good in evil? But that's why you have to hope. You have to trust that what the Lord says is true. And what the Lord says will come to pass. And so look to the Lord. Trust in Him. Hope in Him. But have courage. Have boldness. You have to fight. You have power. Because at some point this has to end. It's been 2 decades of violence. I've seen the villages burned. I've seen the bones. I've seen the blood. And the world is silent. Yes. And so we have to speak. We have to be standing for the truth. And so I challenge you to do that. Defend yourselves. If the government refuses to defend you, defend yourself. Yes. There's no other way. There's no other way. You can't accept death. You have the right to have peace. You have the right to live. And here in Nigeria, you don't have that right now. Do these have the right to live? No, they don't. In the government, they don't care. If they cared, why would this continue to happen for 2 decades? How many thousands of people will continue to be killed while the government sit in their Land Cruisers and mansions? Even the DPO did not want to let me into this funeral. When I entered, they said, oh no, there's no need for reporting. Today, your own DPO. He says, oh, there's no need to report. There's no need to cover this. I said, how can we not cover death? And so you have to stand for truth. Have the courage and have the boldness. And ultimately, trust in God. Not the government, not people, not man. Trust in God. But the blood is on the hands of the government. It's not on your hands. You're not killing these people. You're not killing your own. The blood is on the hands of the government.
The United States has reportedly opened a new phase of military engagement with Nigeria as part of a wider campaign to weaken terrorist networks operating across Africa. American forces are increasing the supply of military equipment and strengthening intelligence exchange with Nigerian security agencies. Now, this move is aimed at boosting Nigeria's capacity to confront extremist groups linked to the Islamic State and other insurgent factions. The development follows a high-level security meeting between officials from both countries in Abuja just last week. Discussions focused on counter-terrorism operations, regional security threats, and deeper operational coordination. Now, this might seem like a lot of grammar. What's really going on here is that the Nigerian government is collaborating with the US government so that there can be a wider campaign to weaken terrorist networks operating not just in Nigeria but across Africa, with the establishment of a new military front in Nigeria. So we just might be seeing the establishment of a military outpost belonging to the United States right here in Nigeria. Now, US officials said the new approach reflects a more forceful posture towards militant groups across the continent, that is zero tolerance for terrorism in Nigeria and Africa. According to them, extremist movements in different African regions are interconnected and must be tackled through joint planning and shared intelligence. Now, let's go back to what I said about 2026 being a year of politicking like you've never seen it before. And you might wonder why I'm saying this. Usually, when it's time for elections, we'll always ask the politicians, we'll always ask political aspirant, what are you bringing to the table that is different from what is already on the table? And they'll tell you, oh, when it comes to security, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll ensure that the country is secure, we'll ensure that the people do not have to fear for their lives, we'll ensure that terrorism becomes a thing of the past, and so many other promises like that. Now, let's go to what the opposition is saying about President Tinubu and the way he's been treated in security. And we're talking about RFI accusing President Tinubu of removing 100 billion naira monthly without approval, and he's calling for the president's impeachment. Bear in mind that this is not the first time that El-Rufai is making such an allegation. Now, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has dropped heavy allegations against President Bola Tinubu, claiming that the president has been withdrawing 100 billion naira every month from the Federation account without any legal backing, that is, without the knowledge of the legislature, without the knowledge of other organs of government. Now, El-Rufai alleged that the secret deductions have been ongoing for approximately 15 months. So if you do 100 billion naira every month, multiply it by 15 months, you know just how much that will come to. That should be about 1.5 trillion or so. According to him, the total amount of money, look at that, taken from the national coffers during this period has reached a staggering 1.5 trillion naira. And I always used to say, I don't know mathematics, I don't know calculation. Clap for me. He argued that such we're talking serious matters though, let's get back to it. He argued that such financial moves conducted without the authorization of the National Assembly or without a clear constitutional provision constitute a gross violation of the law. Now, I don't want you to just say, oh, you heard it from me that I said it. I want you to hear from the horse's mouth. And in this case, that is Nasir El-Rufai. He was speaking on a monitored television program, and I want you to take a listen to what he said.
That 100 billion that goes out, government data, I'm not quoting something out of the air. So for that 100 billion that goes out every month from Federation account, without appropriation by the National Assembly, by the way, without appropriation by the state assemblies, because part of the money belongs to the states. So each state assembly is supposed to appropriate that part. So the entire deduction and expenditure is unconstitutional. It's an impeachable offense, but it has been going on for more than 15 months from the last time I checked. So where has that 1.5 trillion gone? What is it being used for? Why is the security situation just getting worse? Why is the government asking communities to protect themselves? Look, well, President Tinubu's government has felt woeful. Look, beyond, if you asked me in 2022 or 2023 when we were campaigning that things will ever be this bad, I would say that you are mentally ill.
Very briefly, because we're almost out of time.
Now, that was Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, talking about the security situation in the country and just how much the president removes from the coffers of the Federation account every month. He says this has been going on for approximately 15 months now. 1.5 trillion has been taken out of the Federation account to deal with insecurity, and yet the situation persists. Anyway, I'm now being joined by Honorable Shedrack Udugbai. Honorable Udugbai was the SA on Youth Affairs to Godwin Obaseki, former governor of Edo State, he's also an erudite commentator on political, national, and public affairs. How are you doing today, Honorable? Good afternoon to you, and welcome to Matters.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chairman. Good afternoon, Andreas. The pleasure is mine being here.
Good to have you here. Happy New Year, sir.
Same to you, same to you.
All right, let's talk about the security situation in the country. You are from Edo State. You worked with the former Edo State governor, and so Edo is one of those states that unfortunately has now been ravaged by insecurity and the guise of kidnapping. So I want us to begin from there before we talk about what El Rufai said, before we talk about the U.S. Pentagon opening a new military front in Nigeria, before we talk about the terrorists that have been ravaging different parts of the north. As an indigenous of Edo State, you live there, you do your business there, you've worked with the government. This is one time that it's almost as if Edo State has become synonymous with kidnapping. The way some states in the north have become synonymous with terrorism, banditry, bloodshed, it's just a very terrible situation. Now, we see different videos of people being kidnapped in Edo State. The other day was a couple, the other day was a young man. In fact, recently some quote-unquote students came out to protest kidnapping in the state. They were arrested. The government came out to say that no, these were people who just wanted to cause havoc. Let's begin from their insecurity. El Rufai claims that President Tinubu withdraws 100 billion naira monthly from the Federation account without any legal backing. He's been withdrawing it for 15 months, according to El Rufai. That brings us to 1.5 trillion naira, which is supposedly being used to curb insecurity. I want to get your take on this. As someone who stays...
for me, starting from the Edo, starting from the Edo case is really very sad. That of course there's insecurity across Nigeria, but the Edo State are taking a very different dimension, and the issues are now deeper. The kidnapping cases are now rampant, and there'll be some shared boldness among these the kidnappers or the players, the bandits. A few of them have been identified to be of the Fulani extraction. But there's a video of a young man who was kidnapped, who the brother escaped and then scaled the fence, and eventually scaled the fence. Some students in the house were kidnapped, so he came back and described them that yes, they were dressed like Fulani, but they had long AK-47 and some other sophisticated weapons, and it was like 3 other persons and led them into the bush. It has been similar incidents in Epoma. Most of those houses who are close to the forest is a suburban town rather, so they've been prime targets. Also in Isako, along the Ukbila axis, in Isako West and Isako East, there have been issues of kidnapping. First thing you need to understand is this: people watch out for the body language of the leader. Since Mondo Babylon came on board, this became a hotbed for these issues of insurgents, kidnapping and banditry, because the Mondo Babylon's political body language has nothing to do with the security of the state. It's just carved in on politicking, political patronage, and delivering 2.5 million votes for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. And that's been the bane of the government. First of all, when they came on board, they first of all broke down all the local vigilante system that we had on ground. We had the vigilante on ground, we had the Edo security network, and a few we have the police constabulary. Because of electioneering, they said those people were loyal to Governor Obaseki. The disbanding of them. We had a control center, the Solomon Arase Commander Control Center, it was like a joint tax unit system where we had the police, we had the soldier, we had the military, we had the firefighters, we had the NCDC, and they all together in one room. We had the emergency number. We had an issue we could call. I think it was 739 and 121 or 112. You call those numbers, I was going to click. So if it's issue of insecurity, issue of fire, kidnapping, a tanker outbreak, whatever the challenge is, you call, they will respond almost immediately. We had cameras on that place that were watching major areas of the city center in Benin City. So we were able to at least respond to crime and criminality with speed. We also had a few people, the vigilante we trained, our priority was to get persons in the local terrain. Because like I told them before, the crime and criminality we face, they are suburban, they are not taking place in the urban centers. Because you have the Benin City, the Red Bobaka Ego, who are the major city centers. Those crimes, kidnapping is not taking place in those areas. It's taking place in those in local terrains. So what we need to do is to get people who are experts, who will join the vigilante, because the police, they are not motivated. Their strength in these rural areas are very low, and they are poorly motivated and poorly armed. So why don't we get people who are indigenous in these villages and rural areas, get them to join the military? At least those people have been there for long. They know the bushes, they know the terrain, they know the community.
So you feel like this is one part where the governor has failed to protect the people by disbanding the local vigilante?
Yeah, it disbanded them. Then even when he brought them back, it was poorly organized. They said they had brought them back, poorly organized, poorly orchestrated. Even when he had to make his first security intervention, he bought 60 Helios vehicles and he gifted it to different agencies of police. In my opinion, said he was just gifting them those vehicles for the role they played in bringing him into office, not necessarily because he wanted to cover security.
All right, Honorable.
And after that,
okay.
And after that, when they had the issue of insecurity again, he went and bought Okada. One day Okpebolo bought over 300 Okada and said this Okada will be used to fight this. And I began to wonder, where on earth will somebody carry gun and stay on Okada and said he's going to look for kidnappers? If people, someone even is trekking on the leg, who is trailing kidnappers by foot, is more secure, more safe, more alert than someone who's riding Okada in a bush path. He became a repeater. After that, he bought under 180 Okada. So the man is
all right, we know that when it comes to Governor, we know your thoughts, your sentiment when it comes to Governor Okpebolo of Edo State. But here is where I want to align your thoughts. Right, he belongs to the ruling party, and RFI is claiming that the president, of course, who's the head of the ruling party in the country, is withdrawing 100 billion naira every year, and is claiming to funnel this into reducing insecurity in the country, and yet we do not see that. It's very unfortunate that it's even underreported, because sometimes you get reports and they tell you, oh, in Plateau, in Benue, in Borno, in certain areas that attacks happen. There might be one person, two persons, three persons. It's almost, even the other day there were over 100 churchgoers kidnapped the Sunday before last from their churches, and the local government chairman first of all denied. But before we get to what RFI is saying, what Okpebolo and the federal government that you say he serves, they are doing to end insecurity, let's talk about the US Pentagon opening a new military front in Nigeria to fight against what they've called Islamic terrorists. Now, Donald Trump is on this because he believes that there is a genocide ongoing against Christians in Nigeria. The federal government denied this, but yet they are working with Donald Trump to push out these murderous terrorists. Will the sighting of a military front or outpost in Nigeria, would it really help in the fight against terrorists? Or are we opening up our borders to, would I say, foreign incursions? Or will this help us?
For me, I've listened to the arguments. The arguments are for and against. Many people have said, oh, the US had a military base for over a decade in Niger, and that's in Niger, the country above us in the Share region, and it didn't really help Nigeria, rather Niger Republic. It didn't really help them to call their insecurity challenges they had over there. And I said, the reason why the military camp was cited is different from why Nigerians have been cited. And also for the idea that the Americans, even before they had come in, they already colorized the insecurity challenges, painting it as a Muslims against the Christians. Perhaps the ISIS and the Boko Haram jihadists are targeting Christians. But whether you like it or not, that's how the war emerged initially. The Boko Haram means around as education, Western education is seen. And those of the people who championed that cause were first in burning churches. And even till now, as to speak, the genocide is targeted at Christian communities within the North. And I'm not saying that the North or the Islam does not affect the Fulanis or perhaps the Islamists, but it has majorly Christians, whether you like it or not. So for Donald Trump to now say it's still under speculation that they are coming to build a base in Nigeria, whether we like it or not, what is evidently clear is that the Nigeria APC has currently been constituted and led. The Nigerian military is not able to provide a solution to the ending crisis of insecurity. Whether the Americans are coming to build a station, if that will help, whether you like it or not, whether we expect the arguments you are bringing forward, for me is a welcome development. And they speak about opening our borders. The borders, you lock yourself and you are dying inside. And what do we stand to gain if we all die? If today as I speak to you, some factions are declaring some people now have to go and pay to bandits and kidnappers just to ensure that they don't die. Even the Nigerian government offices, the schools, nobody goes out to work on Monday in solidarity to some unnamed and armed and unfaced entity who claim they are secessionists. And yet we call ourselves that we have an active government, we have a country, and we have an active military, we have a president who perhaps is a commander-in-chief over what? See, even when you speak about this issue of resources that they may pull out of the federal government, I've done my analysis over and over again, and I've come to say without fear of caution that the Nigerian APC government is banditry is a business. It's a business of the Nigerian APC. They are doing it in collusion with the Nigerian military. The Nigerian military and the Nigerian government, they are the owners of this bandit. Those Fulani jihadists to see they are carrying guns, they are staff. They are staff. They are working in the banditry business of the Nigerian APC government. So whether you like it or not, because it has got to a point where you know that we are no longer foolish. See, you see, how come we had over 12 kidnappings, mass? I'm not getting about the killings that we see when you go back to schools. People just bring guns and they shoot people to death. They go to churches, they kill. They go to sack families, they go to sack communities. No, I'm talking about the bandits that go to schools, they carry children, girls and boys. The one that happened in Kakara, the one that happens in Tajuni, Tenjina, in Niger State, the one that happened recently. And the numbers are traced is 274, 200 boys, 344 boys in Kakara, 287 girls in the Niger State. All this happen, and every single time, mark my word, every single time the Nigerian federal government and handed over billions of naira to these kidnappers and bandits to empower, to enrich, and to embolden them. And yet, never for once was any one of them shot. Never for once did they go back to bomb the base. Never for once they give them money and say, okay, we want to have a rescue mission to go back to recover the money. And just recently, it was also rumored that in Katsina State, when the bandits took over some local government, the governor insisted that they are not going to negotiate with the bandits and they are going to fight. What happened? They said somebody from the presidency gave money to the local government chairman in Katsina, and those just went to negotiate on behalf of government. See, whether you like it or not, I believe clearly that this whole banditry came with the APC. It's an APC. If you look at the money that's being used in funding, in fighting Boko Haram, kidnappers, Jonathan used less than $1 billion, but I think about 600 and something million naira to buy weapons to curb insurgents. Buhari used about 260 billion for the full 8 years. But Bola Tinubu, who had just done 2 years, has used 579 billion. Just, I'm not talking about the third quarter, I'm talking about 2023, the first, second, and third quarter of 2024. I've not checked. These are figures from the probably Bureau of Statistics. So the idea of you throwing more money at the problem is clear. How come every single time that we hear that when they when they were about adopting the ladies, the girls in the school, when the kidnapper was about to go to the place, and there was a military call that they should evacuate the barrack. Wait a minute. You are telling me that Nigerians do not know where these bandits are, when they have their name, they have their profile, where they stay, when their local government. And I dare to say it's an APC arrangement. Because when the election comes, all those local governments where people are being sacked, where the bandits are in control, they all vote for APC overwhelmingly. Where the black communities were
Honorable,
yes.
We understand the state of insecurity in the country, right? We're talking solutions. And one of these is the collaboration with the United States. President Tinubu jetted off to Turkey. Was it yesterday? And he says one of the conversations he'll be having with the Turkey government is on military cooperation to enhance Nigeria's security. Apart from the fact that maybe you don't really like the current administration of Okpebolo, of President Tinubu, but would you say that these are commendable steps being taken to reduce insecurity in the country?
Well, if you say I don't like them, you're not being fair. Because it's not an issue of whether I like them or I don't like them. What we do is that I judge people not by their intentions. I judge them by their actions and the effect of their actions. If Bola Tinubu had come about to say, yes, I'll give you light 24 hours, and he had done it, even if I don't like him, I will see the light. If he had come and said, I will put an end to insecurity, and it comes about an insecurity drastically reduced, and we see the impact. If Mondo Pueblo comes about and says it's going to reposition Edo State, and the state begins to walk in the better directions, we see that there's a level of civility, insecurity has doubts. They're like, can I fight with results? I can't fight with results. And when you like it or not, say Bola Tinubu is jetting off again just after he spent 17 straight days of the year. Well, he was not available to wish us happy new year. He came on the 17th. I was in Abuja when he arrived on the 17th of January, only to jet out again a few days ago to say he's going to Turkey. So you see, I've actually, when you talk about solution, you were making a reference about solution. The only responsible solution I heard them say was that this 2026 budget of about 58.15 trillion, that the budget rose so high because many of the resources are going to be invested in fighting insurgents and buying military gears for the Nigerian military. And perhaps also be recruiting more personnel. I laugh because it's a bit very silly and useless. At first, recruiting more soldiers on foot to tackle insurgents may look like an intelligence, like yes, you have to get more arms, more boots on ground, more weapons to fight the insurgents. Is a brilliant suggestion or a solution. But let's look at the figures. Nigerian military, the army alone, they are about 180,000, 180 armed personnel on ground. Then if you now look at the bandits, how many bandits do we have? It was Shehu Sani, the former in Kaduna, or Kaduna is one of the hotbed of insecurity, who said that these bandits are not more than 5,000 bandits that are ravaging Nigeria. Let's assume the man he made a mistake. Let's call them 10,000. So you have a military that is 180,000 strong, and we have a bandit that is 10,000 strong, and yet you are telling me, that you need to go and recruit another 5,000 individuals who have never held gun in their life, with no military experience, no military expertise. That why the 180,000 call themselves generals, brigadiers, major generals, they wake up every 3 years to share positions of themselves that does not have any bearing on the Nigerian security. They go abroad for useless and worthless causes that does not have any bearing on security, and yet they will not go and recruit some new 5,000 people because they want to increase their number. So it is that new 5,000 that they go and put in the field for bandits to slaughter and kill. Whereby the bandits we caught before now, who we know, these are Boko Haram jihadists. They are being integrated into the military. And the ones who we arrested and kept the airbars in Kuje, they went and broke themselves and released them. And some months ago, our president sat in his office and said what he needs to do now is to grant amnesty to over 100 and something criminals, drug dealers, murderers, to reintegrate them back into the society so that we will have more of the problem we are complaining of. And you say, should I could buy? To believe that the Nigerian PC government is willing and ready to fight security. See, they can be fooling themselves. I will never be part of that foolishness. I know
the US
there's a business for them.
Not even with the US collaboration will you agree something what
no, the US collaboration. No, they are not collaborating with the US. The US forcefully is imposing a collaboration with Nigeria. Let's not be as though they are usurping.
Nigeria does not want to protect her citizens, despite, like you said, this forceful collaboration. Would the government still welcome it? Would they welcome it? Would they allow it? Would they welcome it with open hands?
The government has no choice. They are incapacitated. The Nigerian federal government is totally incapacitated. They don't need to have a choice. They sincerely do not need to have a choice. That's my opinion. If in Nigeria, if Donald Trump, who is now like the God we all pray to, comes down to say he wants to intervene into the Nigerian situation and provide succor for dying and bleeding Nigerians, then the Nigerian government could please stand still. Because what I saw in that Christmas Day and New Year Day was that the bombing took place with.
Are you with us?
I'm with you.
All right. We couldn't hear you there for a few minutes. Now, let's go to the allegations being made by Nasser El-Rufai, former Kaduna State Governor. He claims that President Tinubu withdraws 100 billion naira every month from the Federation account without any legal backing. He says this has been going on for approximately 15 months, which amounts to 1.5 trillion naira. He says this is a gross violation of the law and an impeachable offense. Talking about impeachable offenses and treasonable offenses, the alleged alterations to the tax laws, which were confirmed by the minority caucus of the House of Reps, was also one that the legal luminaries have been saying was an impeachable offense or a treasonable offense.
When you talk about all of these institutions, democratic institutions and structures, processes, the rule of law, and all of those things, it brings our mind to the role of the judiciary in ensuring the sanctity and then the legal, the integrity of the system. But what we now see in recent times, what can best describe as the politicization of the judiciary and the judicialization of the polity, whereby elections which is started to be conducted by INEC will be decided by the judiciary. The judiciary will not choose who won and who did not. The judge was at home when the election was conducted. If the election was properly done or wrongly done, there was malpractices. A responsible judiciary will say, go and do it again. It is cancelled. But the Nigerian judiciary does not want you to go and do it again. They now want to be the educator to say this is what should be done. And that, first of all, is the judicialization of the politics of Nigeria. They don't call the politicization of the judiciary. whereby the judiciary, see, today, we now see judgment that is not a reflection of justice. We now see, when you present your case before the judiciary now, they will now leave the substance, the legality. They will now be looking for trivialities and technicalities on which they will scuttle judgment and give to in favor of the ruling class. We saw what happened. It does happen over and over again. And the idea of saying you cannot open your mouth to say judges are corrupt, we are past that stage. Because even recently, they brought a list of about 73 judges that were supposed to be confirmed by the NGC. They said about majority of them, about 34 did not scale through. That is to say, 34, they knew that 34 of them were corrupt or case of corruption. It was they that knew that these ones are not fit. These ones are, among the black sheep, these ones are darker. They have to show those ones. So it's no longer a team of shame to say, our judiciary is corrupt, or we have people who collect bribe or collect money, or all those things. That is who they are. That's how low they've reduced themselves. So whenever you talk about the judiciary in this current administration under the leadership of the APC, or you speak about institutions willing and ready to correct the presidency or nudging in the right path, whether it's the legislature or the judiciary, be rest assured those ones have been totally, they'll be captured. They'll be captured because the issue of state captured. They'll be bought, polarized, and big blow. I do not trust the judiciary to say anything contrary to the winds. So whatever this government likes, it does. And even if it's contrary to the law, they look for a way, because they say the law is an ass. It can be interpreted to both ends. So they just look for a way to rough the edges and make sure that they continue to protect the interests of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is now taking up building more houses for the judges in the FCT. Though they are Peacock judge, their salary was increased 400% when ASU has been begging for crumbs of bread, so they want to at least impact in Nigeria. I was going to the country is failing at different levels. They are putting money where they don't know putting money. Their priority is to ensure that they perpetually remain in power against the interests of the common man. And they have lots of spokesmen, many of them who talk from both sides of their mouth. They are throwing to the public skewed macroeconomic figures dubiously calculated to give the image of Nigeria is prospering. When I ask them what is not happening to the reality of ground, they not tell you that you need incubation period, that reform takes time, that they are just coming, they need only 3 years. Should give them another 4 years of more failure before they will not repair Nigeria. And we ask them that the APC not be there for long. They say no, PDP was there for 16 years. APC is just there for 11 years. So they need to do another 16. See, the problem is different dimension. As long as some people are eating and feeding from the government, they want us to remain in this cage. Because for me, for Nigeria economy to shrink. If you go to other countries in the world, the people with the largest population have the largest economy. So I speak to you today, Nigeria used to be first in Africa. Today we are about 5th or 4th. We are never first, we are not second, we are not 10th. And here we have the largest population. Our global GDP has dropped. Nigerians are poorer, they are helpless, and they are hopeless. Just the way all guys killing them, insecurity is hitting them hard from all corners, and it's not getting so much because Nigeria does not have solution. The Nigerian government is folding its hands, and they are making more money on the death of their citizens. While the Nigerian militaries, they're just riding their wagons from joint to joint. They will tell you there's no order to attack. There's order to attack. They are playing games, and they are making more money too, because they buy weapons. You have to give to the military men to buy. It's not Michel Akuruba that was giving the country. They are all military generals, both past and present, who are cashing out on the death of Nigerian citizens. While some of them feel, it's now time for us, the Fulani jihadists, to continue to promote our interests, to sack more villages and give water and blood to cows to drink. So for me, it's a multi-hydra problem that can only end when we end who brought the problem. APC brought banditry. When we put an end to APC, that's where we start from.
Okay, now let's talk about as we go into 2027, because whether we like it or not, the insecurity is also tied to politics. You've continued to reiterate that the APC brought banditry into the country. When it's time for elections, political aspirants, they write their manifestos, they tell us this is what we'll do for you, this is what we'll do for you if you vote for us. What is one way that you think the opposition is getting it right ahead of 2027? Because they come out to the media, we host them for interviews, they tell us, we are making plans, we're ensuring that in 2027 Tinubu must go. El-Rufai is saying it, Peter Obi is saying it, Atiku is saying it, David Marks is saying it, Rotimi Amechi is saying it, APC must go in 2027. Meanwhile, the APC is also making its own plans of how to retain power in that same 2027. There have been talks of maybe Shetima will be replaced in 2027, but some ministers, some people within the APC say that will be the party's biggest mistakes. In what way is the opposition showing Nigerians that if they're given the mandate, that they will do better?
First of all, I'm of the opinion that personally that if we had after Buhari we had sworn in a dead person, I'm not meaning someone that is behaving like there's a life and pretending to be dead. We go to the mortuary, we bring a cadaver, and you swear the cadaver in as president, and Nigeria goes on autopilot. Everything remains the way it is. We just managed to do no new policy, nothing new. It's just same as Buhari left it. Nigeria would have been better off what it is today than what. So all the things that Bola Ahmed Tinubu do took us from bad to worse. There's nothing I can point to, not even one that I can say he did that turned Nigeria into better lights. So if the next guy is coming, cannot do anything new, I never expect anything new. What should do is to maintain the status quo, to ensure that we don't continue to slide, because I've never seen a second tenure in Nigeria that's better than the first tenure. So if we have suffered so much under Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the first tenure, when he still thinks of coming back, you have nothing to hope for in the second. So changing him is the most important thing. Even if we're going to be somebody, as long as it's somebody else from a different political platform, that change in itself is more of an institutional reform that Nigeria is begging to have. Because seeing that desperation, they play their card out, they try to scuttle the other opposition platform, using the judiciary, using paid mouths to speak and to destroy the opposition platforms. We saw how we now managed to restructure, to go and find our footies in the ADC. We saw what happened to Labour Party, what happened to ADC, what happened to the PDP Democratic Party. And where we are today, we know how we follow them closely. How they are buying governors, we become and say, oh, we now have 31 governors. How come we when they now go and write results, they will now fall back to the idea of the governor, we are controlling the territory, the structures, so we must win. We know, and we also know that they have controlling the southeast and many of the states where the APC governors, APC is lost. So what the opposition is getting right now is that there's a seemingly blend of the opposition. They are coming together under a united platform. Both the biggest person, three biggest persons who ran with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whereby a minority vote emerged victorious. Talking about the Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and Abi Musa Kakasu appear to now be they have been so sidelined that they will not be forming or Peter Obi and Atiku have already met under the ADC. They are waiting for Abi Musa Kakasu to come and join them, because obviously he can't go to the APC, but they've invested his governor like they invested Rapopo, they've invested him into their food, and the man is a bit stranded. Currently he's licking his wounds, but after licking his wounds, he's going to fall back to the ADC for us to hit the APC hard. And if the oppositions are able to unite, because the average interest of the man out there is the body language is disposed against the APC and all its representatives. Only those people who earn money, who earn a living from the APC, who are eating from their hand, is saying the APC is good. Any man who is not feeding crumbs from the APC federal government or the state government cannot say the APC is good. So they are in a tiny minority. So the people are able to unite and bring forth a ticket of unity, a ticket of a Nigerian liberation that the people can queue behind and not split the opposition votes. Then the APC will be as good as gone, because there are some parameters that you need to rig election. Having the government is not just enough. Having the security, the apparatus of state, they say you have the DSS, the commissioner of police, the soldier, the military, all those people will be spread wider thin. They certainly can't be everywhere. It is the Nigerian people that will be everywhere and will command the structure when the thing comes. And I know very clearly they play their card out very early, so it gives us opportunity for us to reorganize, strengthen, firm up the opposition, and give them a run. And this issue they talk about the Muslim ticket. Whether you like it or not, if I emboldened those guys who are doing this banditry, the Boko Haramis, the Islamists, the irredentists, that is a Muslim ticket, and we all know that Shetima is a Fulani fundamentalist, one of the core fundamentalists in the north, and he too has positioned himself strongly that after Tinubu leaves, he will be taking over office. And we see all this. It has become a serious issue now, because the United Nations and the international community have now narrowed down on the Muslim ticket as an attempt to Islamize Nigeria and to bottle up the voices of the Christians in the Nigerian nation state. And so there's a pressure from the Nigerian community for them to balance the ticket. But yeah, Shetima now has also released the cronies and his mouthpiece to go out there and be making bogus and empty claims. Whether you like it or not, me, I'm even praying that all I'm making should repeat.
People who are saying that Vice President Shetima should not be dropped in 2027, the people who are saying why change a winning ticket, they are being sponsored by the Vice President.
I say they are cronies and surrogates. They are messengers from Shetima. They are people eat in his office. There is errand boys. He just said there to go and be making all sorts of business noise in social media. But when you cut him to say what in the northeast where he's from, he only won the states. Alajatiku Abubakar cleared out 5 states. Who is Shetima? He had to collaborate with the city governor to secure victory. What political baggage does he? What is his clout? So they say the man is so strong. In which state does he control votes? That's not how to know. I repeat again, the southeastern states, it was bagged by Alajatiku Abubakar clearly. So Shetima is a small fry, whether you like it or not. We don't respect him as vice president. So for him to not say that he must be returned, he's just overrating himself. And that's why I say clearly, people who are telling that news, there is boys, there is cronies, there is messengers. He's paying them to go and shout on mainstream media. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu chooses to return that same ticket of Muslim ticket, Nigerians will speak to him in the language in him and only his phone.
Hello, Honorable, are you there? Honorable, are you with us? Honorable Dubai, can you hear me? All right, we'll try to reach Honorable Shadrach Dubai one more time. We have been having a conversation around insecurity in the country and the plan of the opposition figures to do better if they do come into power, like they have been saying, or that the APC must not come back in 2027. What plans do they have to bring the country out of the quagmire of insecurity that we have found ourselves? This is the conversation we're having today on Matters. You have been listening to Matters on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Hello? Honorable, can you hear me, sir? Hello? Honorable, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Thank you. So we've been having this conversation for a while now, and one of the questions is the plans of the opposition. They've said we do not expect them to come out and tell us everything they are planning, that they have to keep some private or secret so that the APC does not get to know about it and scuttle it. The APC has been accused of being behind the... Honorable, can you hear me better? Honorable, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just speak louder.
Okay, great. Here's what I'm saying about the opposition and their plans for 2027. The president is already in power. The other day we saw an APC chieftain coming out to talk about how they will win it either ways. There was a video of Florence Ajimobi, former first lady of... I can't recall the state now. I think it was Oyo State or so. She was talking, but she said that particular video is AI, that she did not say that. When she said that it will be bloody and the PDP must go. With all of this, with the fact that many people are saying that INEC is not independent, don't you think that 2027 will be a walk in the park for APC, despite the sentiment of the opposition and some Nigerians who are not happy with the current administration?
When you talk about, you can hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
And when you talk about the reforms that ought to have taken place in INEC, and what called the sanctity of the ballot, electronic transmission, the integrity of the personnel there, and the independence of the police in ensuring that we have free, fair, and credible elections, and if all of these things are not in place, that Nigerians should not waste their time. That's exactly what APC wants us to believe, because they want to give us the illusion that is a fait accompli. That no matter what we do, the APC had won ab initio. And I laugh because I'm a politician. I've been in the grassroots. I've participated strongly in election. If Tinubu knows that he has already won, then why is he desperate about buying governors? Why is he spending so much bank? Why are they doing party registration? Why is he campaigning? Election had not come in. He entered into office 2023. And for 2023 get go, he started planning the election for 2027. If it was a walk in the park, it was fait accompli, we'll be doing this. Nigerians are not naive. Like I said before, there are conditions that makes rigging possible. Once the opposition is united, whether you like it or not, the man who's going to be calling the result in NXD, those people are going to be doing the manipulation of figures. They are human beings. They will not be imported from sky. They are Nigerians too. And they will also be meeting other Nigerians on ground. Once the opposition can unite, you can't rig in areas where you are not popular. You can't rig election where the margin is very wide. You can't rig where people know that overwhelmingly you have lost. You can't secure victory. So it's only where you think you have won small, you are not going to add new figures to make it look like you won big. Or perhaps where there's a tie, you're not going to cut some votes away. But when you have lost woefully, there is practically nothing you can do aside the outright manipulation of results, and that can only take place in a central location. You can't manipulate results in the world. You rather go to local, that local that you've won almost. That's why I said we know their fears, and they know that we know what they know. And in that day, once the opposition is able to give us a united ticket, whereby the votes will not be split against this, it's just Tinubu and this candidate from the opposition. I bet you Tinubu will be running helter-skelter with no solution. They will run out of ideas. Even though they will do manual collation, manual counting, would have defeated them so far that manipulation will become practically impossible.
So guys, it's really so nice to see that the way the Fulanis painted Nnamdi Kanu is not how the world is seeing him. You know, under the Buhari's government, Fulani headsmen were given 100 billion naira, and Fulanis, upon all the menace they caused in places like Benue and other places, none of them paid for that. But guess what? In the southeast, many southeastern youths were pied by the Nigerian military. I mean, they sent the hardest of people were saying that the military men that were sent to the southeast are those that were reintegrated from Boko Haram, and they got to the southeast, they were ready to kill and maim people. Many southeast youths were pied, you know, during the Buhari's tenure. And the Buhari's tenure went fast, you know, to declare IPOB a terrorist organization. Now everything is becoming clear that it was intentional just to stop Ndibu from asking for secession. Now, under the Tinubu's government, you have seen what has happened, how Nnamdi Kanu has been jailed to life, sentenced to life imprisonment, while the Fulanis, who are the actual problem of Nigeria, have been let to go free. So guys, a whole lot is happening. Now, you must have heard an American, you know, accusing Nuhu Ribadu of trying to protect the Fulani terrorists. Actually, the man granted an interview saying that the Fulani terrorists are the problem, but the Ribadu is trying to cover up for them. This is the same Ribadu who is eyeing the presidency. Don't be shocked to hear that. Tinubu might want to, you know, leave in office, might want Ribadu to replace him if Tinubu, you know, doesn't, assuming the INEC does what they want to do or what they intend to do, and Tinubu comes back for second term. Ribadu is one of the people are eyeing that possibly is the person Tinubu wants to hand over, you know, as in it is the turn of the South. The next one is going to be the turn of the North. This is the same Ribadu that is protecting the Fulanis. He's the one that hired a lobby firm that went ahead to say that it was an Onitsha screwdriver that provided, you know, the intelligence with which Trump struck terrorists in Nigeria. So a whole lot is happening. Now, many people are also wondering why is Tinubu not interested in a kind of dividing Nigeria. You know, if you've watched the video of the former naval commander, he said Tinubu should summon the courage to just divide this country. But as for Islamization, that Nigeria is definitely going to be Islamized because of the power, the heavy weights that are behind the Islamization agenda of Nigeria. That it is an agenda. He even said the terrorists you are seeing are just instruments, but the real people behind it are powerful institutions, powerful individuals who have money that they've devoted to that cause to ensure Nigeria is Islamized. So most of the things you see today, that is why the northern leaders do not react when you see all these attacks. Look at what happened in southern Kaduna a few days ago. Like 177 persons were picked up, taken to the bush, you know. At a point, 11 of them escaped. So they have 166 persons with them in custody. And you don't hear any of the northern leaders coming out to say, oh, this is wrong for our people to have done this. No, none of the Fulanis is saying anything, you know. It's just an Islamization agenda. Now, they are not happy that there's a group in southern Kaduna called Southern Kaduna who are majority Christians. And for them, taking over southern Kaduna is also like a project. It's an agenda. That is why people always call out someone like El-Rufai, because during his time, the Fulani terrorists reigned hell in southern Kaduna in attempt to take over that land. There were land disputes all the time. Now, Fulanis are said to be foreigners in this country, but now today, they drag land with indigenous people. Doesn't that sound funny? And now, when you go to the Middle Belt, they come in, they displace people, send them to IDP camps, take over their communities, rename them, and they are living there. And nobody is there going there to bring back these people. So, guys, there's a whole lot of mix-up. Nigerians are wondering, what is Tinubu up to in Nigeria? What is Tinubu up to? Why is Tinubu being used? Why is Tinubu so weak? Why is Tinubu thinking doing the right thing means stepping on toes and he's afraid for his life? If he knows he cannot govern Nigeria, he can't take care of Nigeria, why did Tinubu come out to say he's a Milokon and use INEC, the judiciary, to bring himself to power? And look at the colossal failure. Now, El-Rufai is also accusing Tinubu to be deducting 100 billion naira monthly from the Federation account. El-Rufai is saying he doesn't know where Tinubu is channeling that money. Considering the level of insecurity in Nigeria, why is Tinubu not channeling that money to address the security challenges? Now, you also wonder why Tinubu is silent over setting up community policing. Recently, recently we saw Ribadu try doing that, using the Fulani militias, Mieti Allah, to set up community police that they are going to dispatch to various states of the Federation, and Nigerians resisted that. I mean, there was an outburst on the social media. Nigerians were like, Fulanis that are the problem of Nigeria are the ones Ribadu is using, setting up to use as community police to police the environment. Don't forget that the northern leaders have once canvassed or campaigned for Fulanis to be allowed to guard the forest, that they understand the terrain. So they want the Fulanis to be, Nigerians should just give it as a project to them, so that, just like to an amnesty project, so that they will be the ones protecting the forest, since they already know the in and out. And Nigerians are wondering, this same Fulani that will meet you on your farm and insist that their cows must graze on your farm, and if you try rejecting, your life is cut short, are the ones, the northerners. I mean, the northern Fulanis are campaigning or canvassing for them to be the ones, serving as community police to Nigerians. And not until recently we saw Ribadu setting up, saying that they've graduated 7,000 vigilantes who are Fulanis. Nigerians never knew when they were recruited, they never knew where they were trained, they never knew how the process went. All of a sudden, they just told us that they've graduated 7,000 in the thin air, and they want to dispatch them across Nigeria. That came with a whole lot of resistance from Nigerians. Like, is it the same tribe that is giving headache to the Nigerian people? Is the same tribe you are sending to come and protect Nigerians? So that also came with a whole lot of, backlash, basketballs, and possibly, I'm sure that Ribadu has withdrawn that program because Nigerians resisted vehemently. Like the people from the southeast, they said over their dead body, they will have the Fulanis in their forests, in their bushes, being the one protecting Ndibo. You don't give your life into the hands of your enemies. That's one thing. And we just hope that Tinubu will sit up, because looking at how things are being run in this country, guess what? You get to know that Tinubu is not in charge. I mean, this man is not in charge. Let's not even try to pretend. Tinubu is not in charge. And now elections are drawing close. They are looking for influencers they will use. Obi Kubana has fallen victim in the hands of these people. Like this person here reacted and said, Igbos are not Hausa, Fulanis, or Yorubas. No one can use a billionaire to deceive Igbos. You can use Dangote or an $10 to deceive the North and the Yorubas. But here is Igbo land. Everyone is a king in his house. Join Obi Kubana together with Ato Eze. Igbos will not send you. Igbos will still not send you. So he's saying that even if Obi Kubana, joins hand with Ato Eze, that the Igbos are not ready for anything like that. So guys, I don't know what you make of all this. These are reactions coming from Nigerians as regards to, Tinubu trying to reap where he didn't sow. He didn't bother. He didn't bother to make Nigeria a better place, but he wants to come back again for second time. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more updates. Thank you.